Unfiltered, or as we're going to start referring to the group as WIPU, since it's a mouthful every time we say it. My name is Yola Alsobag. I am the co-founder of this wonderful group. With me today is my wonderful co-founder as well. We kind of sit and chit chat for once a week, and we like to kind of bring you content. We're still very new at all of this. We have kind of developed into what we are today kind of overnight as far as we were concerned. We're 3 months ahead of schedule for our group. But Linda, I'm excited. Aren't you excited?
Yeah, I mean it's really eye-opening. So, it goes back to that whole consistency thing. And when you first start doing it, when you first start going to the gym, you don't, immediately see the six-pack abs, just like if you're eating a salad one day a week, you're not, but all of a sudden, if you keep doing it, then you end up ahead of schedule. And that's kind of where we are. We should have recorded some of this stuff so we could have had a bloopers reel when we make it to the big stage. we can show what we really look like at the beginning.
Listen, don't count on us yet. I feel like we're still figuring a lot of this out. So in a year, when we look back at this, we're gonna have a whole other, background typeset. I feel like growth. So I'm excited to kind of see where we're starting versus where this is gonna all be in a year or 3 or 5, because this is huge, right? Like this community that is being built is just so incredible with all these women. We know we can market, we can service for, we can serve them with just true unfiltered information without having to give you, like, our specific product. We don't need to make any money off of you. We all go to work, we make our own money. We just kind of want to pay it forward to an agent that's just starting out, that doesn't know where to go, right? That doesn't have a resource. Maybe they don't get a lot of training within their own industry, because we are in such a vast industry that we don't get to everybody as trainees. And if you're one of those big IMO numbers, you're not going to get hands-on training. So we want to kind of fill that gap. And it doesn't always have to be monetary, right? Like we just kind of help each other throughout our journeys, which is how this group kind of started. And it's so interesting and beautiful to see so many women collaborating with us and gravitating towards it.
Yeah, and at the same time, let me just say, as some of the veterans in the group give out advice on what to do or what's worked for them, it's still up to the other person on the other side of the keyboard to take that advice and put it to work. But please know that Yola and myself are rookies when it comes to this. So we're taking our own advice. We know how uncomfortable it is. The first couple of times that Yola and I even tried to put a video together, I mean, my God, Yola, how many times do we have to start and stop? I mean, you finally get to the point where you're like, man, let's just roll with it. And then come to find out, when you're watching it back or somebody else is watching it, they think it's fine. They don't notice all of the small things that we notice as we're the ones, trying to figure this out. So, and that should give a lot of young agents some confidence hearing that, knowing that, it does get easier. And more than likely, the other person doesn't even realize that you're nervous.
That's true. The other thing I would say about that is as your technology grows, you grow with it, and you grow as an agent. And the more that we do this, and the more that you do this business, the more you're going to become fluent at it. Kind of sitting behind and watching YouTube videos all day does not help you unless you go out and actually do the stuff that we talk about and actually implement them. I was just telling you before we started the meeting, like I got to go out and start doing business after this too. Like I'm giving this a half an hour. We have another meeting with another potential woman after this, but after that, I go out to the field and I make, my own money, and I drum up my own business. But we wanted to give just a half an hour about practicality, things that are mindset related, some things that what you can do on the daily that is going to get you to where you're looking back 6 months and you're like, holy crap, I just made, $50,000 or whatever that number is, right? Like you have to figure out your numbers. You got to figure out your why. And then you kind of reverse engineer, because at the end of the day, this business is numbers. Would you agree?
Yeah, and let me just throw in there too. We hear a lot of people say, knowledge is power. And although I don't think that's wrong, I think it's half true because it's applied knowledge.
Yep.
You can have, if you take notes of every call or YouTube video you listen to, and you take your notes and then you put it on the bookshelf and never use it, it's knowledge, it's over there, but it's not powerful because you haven't applied it yet. So, I mean, I think that's the biggest thing. And that's probably the biggest hurdle that young agents face is just go do it. Like go fail a few times. You'll figure out really quick what works and what doesn't for
Yeah.
you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And then you kind of come across people that will actually make you better, like iron sharpens iron. And you just kind of, if you immerse yourself in the industry and look for the right people to surround yourself with, this is an incredible opportunity for growth, not only as an individual, but as an agent and as a human being altogether. We talked about it last week, although we didn't get to go on live.
We tried. I mean,
We
really
did.
hard.
But you were talking about something that was very, really important that, as you grow, there's different versions of you that are going to grow. And how do you keep up with people that don't grow with you? How do you
Yeah.
know that you're just kind of leaving people behind? And that's okay. Like your friends and family, not everybody's going to kind of make that next version of you. How do you put your mindset around it where that's actually okay to you?
Yeah, I actually, and I might have stolen this from somebody in the group, but I saw a meme yesterday and I just pulled it up on my phone. It said, energy is contagious. Either you affect people or they infect you. And I was like, dang, man, that's so true. We know it even in our personal lives. There's people that you're around that just, it seems like you're around them for 15 or 20 minutes and you're drained, like you're ready to go take a nap,
Yeah.
and it's because they're dumping on you, right? They're using you essentially to get what's on their chest, what's on their mind off their chest, per se. And I've been guilty of this too, Yola. Have you ever like had something bad happen and you're like, I can't believe this happened. Let me call Yola. And I call Yola and I'm telling her, and depending on if Yola gives me the response I'm looking for, depends on if I stop calling people. If Yola doesn't give me what I want to feel on the inside, I'm gonna hang up with her and I'm gonna call somebody else and I'm gonna give them the same sad story, trying to get, somebody to validate what I'm feeling. And I remember when I realized that I was doing that, and I was like, oh my gosh, I feel so sorry for the people that I was calling because I was taking them off their game a little bit. And it was selfish on my part. So you have my permission to call me out if I ever do that. But man, guys, our mind is probably, well, it's not, there's no probably about it. It is the strongest muscle in our body. And if we don't use it correctly, it can cause a lot of heartache. So I know I said a lot right there, but I think some people will get where I'm coming from.
Well, just to piggyback off of that, I mean, I think it's important that you call people that when you have a bad day that can understand, that can relate, that can talk you off the edge or when you had a bad day. I just always have this rule that you're only allowed to come and complain about it once, and then the second time you have to tell me about how you're going to fix it. Or else just calling me to complain every time, I'm not going to be able to,
Yep.
I can talk you off once and twice, maybe three times if it's the same thing, but at what point are you going to say to yourself that you're just going to need to figure it out and fix it? Like you're allowed to go through your emotions. We are emotional beings. That's why we're so good in this business. Women are very emotional, especially with life insurance. I feel like we connect on a level no disrespect to our male counterparts, but we are a little bit more emotional in that sense. If you are emotionally aware, though, that you're not just going to have a meltdown and be a child, and then just continue to have a meltdown and be a child over and over again, looking for somebody to condone that behavior, because nobody,
Right.
you are responsible for your own emotional well being. Nobody's responsible for that. while we have friends that can kind of, take a load off and fix it, or sometimes it's a spouse or significant other, you still need to kind of figure it out. Like go through it, go through your emotions, but then grow through it. Like, how is this supposed to make me grow or help me grow? And that's where your mindset is going to come in. You're no longer victimizing yourself as to, oh, poor me. Now you're like, okay, so how do I take control of the situation and figure it out from there?
Right. 100%. And I mean, as far as us being really emotional, I would almost say that men were probably far more emotional than we are. When it comes down to it, they just have a shorter memory. So women, like, for whatever reason, I remember how somebody made me feel in high school. It was 20 years ago. Men are like, well, yeah, I remember it, but I never think about it anymore. Yeah, I move on. But I've seen, and I'm sure you have as well in the group. There's been quite a few lately talk about not having a supportive spouse or family, not having that supporting cast. And ladies, we want you to come to us with that. We want to be your supporting cast. We've got plenty of women who more than likely have gone through what you're going through, and they can show you what the other side looks like. But Yola, I didn't really have that issue when I came in, but I've never been somebody that my family really I let them have a whole lot of control over what I was doing. It was more like, I'm going to tell you what I'm doing, you can get on board, or the train stops at the next station, get off.
Yep.
But what do you say to those women out there that are kind of feeling like they don't have somebody in their corner and they're fighting an uphill battle, and maybe they're at their wits end?
I mean, I've been fortunate enough and blessed, honestly, to kind of always have that support too. My husband used to take me out door knocking when I first was so nervous to go door knocking by myself. He used to literally drive me. So he's always been supportive of what I've done. And now, as my business has grown, it's been nice to kind of have him step away in that, supporting role, because it does get frustrating when you're bringing it home too. So we try to work together on that capacity too. But when you're married to somebody and you're with them 24/7 and working together, it works for some couples. I'm not saying it doesn't. I'm just saying that I would rather just kind of have my own kind of support group in that sense, and keep him as a spouse, and not, you know what I mean? Like, there's different capacities for different people in our lives. And I love that I can just kind of come to him at the end of the day. He doesn't need to be there the whole day though. you know
Right.
but for women that don't have a supportive spouse, I mean, you're in an uphill battle if you don't have a spouse at all too, because there's a lot of single moms that I see
Mm-hmm.
in this group. And shout out to a few wonderful, powerful women that we will be talking to here in the near future. There's some great supportive women that they kind of get in touch with, because if you're a single mom, you can reach out to other single moms, and there's groups that you can connect with. And listen, it goes back to, not everybody's going to make your journey. You have people that kind of come and go. Everybody's a lesson. It's a reason, season, or lifetime, as they always call it. And it's hard, but you have to understand that this is maybe their role in your chapter and in your life, and then their chapters kind of maybe over or maybe evolved, or you just move on to another chapter. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I mean, that's so true. And like I said, my family, I kind of come to them after I've made the decision of what I'm going to do. But here's a couple of things that I would say when it comes to dealing with your supporting cast. Be appreciative for what they do support, but don't expect anything. I had somebody tell me really early in my career, when I had jumped a few layers, and I had gone to a partner of our company, and I was complaining about my direct manager. And he said, Linda, they're not obligated to do anything. So be appreciative of what they give, but don't expect anything. If you're going to make it in this career, it's not because you had a supporting family, right? Because there's plenty of people who make it that don't have that.
Yep.
It's going to be how you overcome it. But here's also the thing, and I won't name names. We all kind of know the companies that they hire on the premise of, hey, bring me 100 of your closest friends, and we're gonna, go down through the list, and gonna make some money for your upline, right?
Yeah.
Yola, to be honest, I remember the first family member I wrote was my aunt, and she had begged me for like 3 months to write insurance on her. And I said, have somebody local do it and just let me look at it. And then I finally broke down and wrote the business. But guys, it can be very uncomfortable for both parties involved. Meaning, if Yola is my aunt and I'm begging her to take insurance, and then she agrees, okay, let's look. And now Yola realizes she needs to tell me she's on Latuda. She needs to tell me that she's got these, potential medications that um, don't come with, they come with a negative stereotype or stigma. So it can be difficult. And what I say to you guys is definitely cover family if they want covered, but you're not going to get rich long term off of your family, right? I mean, it's going to take finding people that you're not related to do this. And here's the other thing: get a little experience. You'll go out and practice on a stranger, not your sister,
Mhm.
and take the pressure off of them. If it's gotten to the point where everybody, you're having a barbecue in the summertime and nobody wants to, like, get alone with you in the kitchen, you might be stressing them out. So back down, find a different way. So
Exactly.
I,
I
uh,
agree.
I think you understand where I'm going with on that one.
Well, I agree with you 1,000%. Also, don't be a secret agent. I mean, let people know what you're doing. Make sure that they're, especially friends and family, they see different versions of you. You're not, nobody grew up no wanting to be a life insurance agent or insurance agent in the beginning of their life. We kind of all stumble upon this career. If it's not later, like, I kudos to the ones that did find it in their 20s. Like, I think this is an amazing opportunity. But for us that are a little older, my friends and family have seen me go through a couple of career changes, right? So why are they going to trust that I'm actually going to do this business long term versus everything else that they've seen? So
Yeah.
you have to kind of let them know that what you do and who you are, but also don't rely on that support because they see a different version of you from 5 years ago, from 2 years ago, that is not your current version. So
They potentially changed your diaper. I
it's
mean, they wiped your ass, right? They know that you got arrested at 16 years old. They know all these things, and you're just, you're expecting them to take you serious right out of the gate. Guys, it's much easier sometimes to get a stranger to take you serious, somebody that doesn't know the prankster you were, or maybe you were a bad apple back in the day. Like, maybe you were, smoking pot in the bathroom. I don't know. They remember those things. So Yola, listen, we've got another meeting at 1. So we've got like 13 minutes. Let's get 10 minutes of helping these women. Maybe when it comes to finding clients. You see a lot of posts on the group. How do I market myself? How do I find clients? How do I do this? Give us a few tips, and I'll kind of play off of you.
Well, first of all, we did talk about leads, and leads, I know that some people are opposed to them. I am a huge proponent of them. This is how my business works because, like we talk about, your friends and family are not going to make your business. And I consider leads an inventory for my business. Without inventory, you don't have a business. But with that being said, there's things that you can do outside of just buying leads, that you can go and market yourself as the local agent and the local expert in your community. And it's just going out and working. It's not hard. Like yesterday, I had a radio interview with the Chamber of Commerce here in our local town, and it was cool. They have a cool little viewership. I went and talked about who we are and what we do as far as my company, but kind of, I joined the Chamber of Commerce as soon as I came into the area because I knew I needed to network with other businesses. I knew I needed to network with people. And when you're new, especially at something, you have to get your name out there. Nobody's gonna, like, you're not instantly famous. You're not Cher, right? Like, people are gonna need to get to know you, and if you're not consistent about getting to know each other, having you know them and they know you, you're never going to be able to build a rapport and a reputation. And this is a huge reputation based business. So if
Mhm.
you're a local agent and you go into your local senior centers with what you and I do, that's kind of our market. And I help seniors a lot. So I go and I do organic marketing. I go and I kind of introduce myself to the who's who of the community. If there's a manager I need to kind of know, I schmooze them with like a little bit of a mint or, whatever. I get a little bit of a package for them with my card on it. And then I go and I put them on my reputation, on my repertoire every week, right? So we're doing this senior center and we're seeing them once a week where we're just kind of offering services. Most of the time, I will also offer for me to come back and do a lunch and learn for the community. And that way they have their seniors, they kind of put out a poster board for people and
Okay, so
sign up.
let me stop you right there.
Sure.
Give me some practical, give these ladies some practical tips. So, Yola, you're just walking into a senior center. You've never been there before. Who are you going to speak with, and what are you saying?
I mean, I'm walking in. First of all, before I go into the senior center, I am putting together, I'm going on Google and I'm putting together a list of the nearest 15, to 15 senior centers in the 20, 30 mile radius that I have. I am in a rural area, so I drive about an hour to get anywhere. But if you're in a city or in a town that has, a lot of population, you can find places all around you and just put them on a map. There's a Google has a free one. We have Road Warrior for that, but kind of I go in there and I just walk into the office. Normally 8 to 5 is when they have their staff, and you just ask for whoever's in charge of the property or who's the manager or whatever. They'll usually point you to that because that's what they do for a living. And I just kind of go in and I say, my name is Yola. I'm an agent with VIP Insurance Advocates. And what we do is we sponsor the community for, lunch and learns for final expense coverages. We do state regulated benefits. We also help them with Medicare. I'm wondering if I can just kind of put on a lunch and learn for the community so they can learn a little bit more about us. We're a free service. We don't actually get compensated until we put them in a better position. And normally they're receptive because they don't have agents. And if they do have agents, they don't have consistent agents. Like it's great if you do it once. It's great if you do it twice. But are you normally going out there and you're seeing them and making those relationships and talking to those people and getting to be known? Yes, it's a slower process, which is why I buy leads, you're actually ready
Yeah.
to have that conversation right away. But if it's a community where people are going to have to see you once, twice, 3 times, that's where your consistency is going to come in. So you're going to need to at least put together a marketing plan for 30 to 60 days to see what that looks like on the backside of it. You can't say, oh, well, I did it this week. Let's just see if the phone starts ringing. It's not. You're going to need to go out there again tomorrow and the day after
Right.
that and the day after that. And guess what? Every time you're out, you're somewhere, you're going to have to put out a card. You're going to have to talk about who you are, have an elevator pitch of about 10 to 15 seconds. This is who I am and this is what I do. And just kind of have a handoff, a website, a something that's just going to have them kind of reach out to you when they're ready and pique their interest. Obviously, I'm a very interesting human being as far as I'm concerned, so I make
And
friends.
you get more interesting as the day goes on.
Yes, exactly. You know that more than anyone.
So we kind of have a similar setup. I don't I'm a creature of habit. I love working leads. I'll dial my leads, but I like being out in the community. What I do, Yola, is if I have a lead that lands me in a senior living facility, so a retirement community,
Okay.
not a skilled nursing, nothing like that. It's just an over 50 living apartment complex. And I'll take the lead and I'll go to the manager and I'll say, hey, we got a request for Miss Johnson in room 214. I've noticed that we've been getting a decent amount of requests from this building. Typically, what we try to do at that point is do kind of like a lunch and learn. Like we'll bring in pizza or, ice cream, whatever it is. We'll bring it in and we'll just do an educational seminar. It's, there's no purchase necessary, whatever, but there's a lot of seniors who are missing benefits or potentially in policies that are, going bad. And then here's what I do. They typically will send me to the events coordinator, which is I usually call her the big mama of the building because she knows everybody.
Right.
She's the mouthy, nosy one. And I'll get on the schedule. And then Yola, when I'm there, I'm going to have them sign in. They have to sign in. Here's my name. Here's my room number. Here's my phone number. And then we're going to do something fun like bingo. You can do like the bingo, B2 thing. You can do music bingo. And that's another thing. I'll play music that is their genre.
Yes,
You know, if
a
it's
big
if
one.
it's 60s, yeah, I'm playing 60s and having fun. And I'm really not talking a whole lot of insurance. I'm having fun.
Exactly.
And then I'm giving away some prizes, toilet paper. You guys laugh, they love it. Toilet paper and cleaning supplies get snatched up real quick. Bottle of wine, maybe a $20 gift card for the overall, cover all champion. But those are ways to get leads. Now here's the thing, and this is the scary part. You got to knock on their door. Like you got to knock on their door. They're not going to come up to you after bingo and say, "Can you help me get insurance?" Because they ain't trying to have you help them do anything. You got to lead them through the process. So, Yola, I know I kind of went off on a little diatribe there, but I see people all the time say, "Well, I'm posting on Facebook and I'm running ads and I'm doing this." Guys, you're getting data back. You got to mine the data. You still got to sell it. So cut me off. Cut me off right now.
I mean, those are all very, very valid points. I will leave it at that because we only have a few more minutes on this. First of all, everything works if you do. Second of all, if you are scheduling you're making your plans throughout the week and you call them income producing activities, is this producing me income? That's your biggest answer question every day to yourself. Is this, IPA if you're if you're a beer drinker, income producing activities, income producing or attitude and activities. Some companies like to rah it, whatever it is, get into the mindset of, okay, what I'm doing is planting my seeds and I'm actually going to be sowing here in the next future, whatever that future looks like, 20 days, 30 days, sometimes a day. You just have to you have to work. Everything works if you do
And
again.
you can't always be planting. Sometimes you got to harvest. And the
Amen.
harvest is the hard part.
Yep.
So it's activity, 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 activity. The more people
Yeah.
you talk to, the more chances you get that somebody needs what you're selling.
Yep.
Ladies, Whip You Nation, go kill it. Go have fun. Stay safe if you're on the East Coast. I know we're dealing with little
Yes.
Debbie coming through, but yeah.
I love that we're calling it With You Nation. I think I'm just gonna kind of change the group name to that, but we won't do that yet because we're still registering. By the way, if you are a woman that's an expert in your field, we are looking for different women, PNC, commercial, life and health, ACA, Medicare, gosh, all of it, whatever you have.
Group benefits, voluntary benefits,
Yes, yes, all of it.
all of that. But don't come to us if you don't have proof. Show us something.
Yes. Yes. And if you're a new agent, listen, we embrace you just as much. I'm sure you're with a great company and I know that you love what you do and we're very happy and embrace it for you. However, if you are just kind of new, just watch us and watch the experts there. That's why we're kind of doing this panel, is because we want to be able to bring you solid support that's not going to benefit off of you in any way, right? We want to bring knowledge and we want to bring free content that's going to actually elevate you. So with that being said, I'm going to sign off. We'll see you next week. I think that this is a really cool start for us for every half an hour, sorry, every week for a half an hour to kind of talk and just chit chat a little bit.
And we'll get live eventually.
I mean, eventually is going to be in the month of August. I am figuring this out. Hell or high water, women. Hell or high water. We'll see you soon.